Hey guys, happy Sunday. This is Marissa from Grow the Flow popping in here for our weekly collective card pull. So if you are catching this over on my free empowerment sharecast on the Marco Polo app, you know what we do. If you're seeing this over on one of my social media spaces, I like to share each week a little sampling of what I share on the sharecast. What we do here is we're tapping into the tarot and oracle cards to take a look and see the collective energy we're bringing in, what is coming up for the week ahead, and how best to flow with those energies. And we've got a biggie. We are moving into a lunar eclipse in Libra happening around 3 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, Monday. So that is this evening here where I am on the East Coast in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's coming right up, a lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. I'm going to talk about that when we get into the energetic weather for the week ahead, talk to you about that and some of the other aspects that are absolutely influencing the rather significant energies that we are moving through. I don't know how you're feeling, but I have definitely been feeling this eclipse for the last week. Along with that, Mars moving into Pisces on the 22nd has been quite significant. And I did share a number of little spiritual breadcrumbs that came in here. If you received all those notifications from the sharecast, yes, there was a lot flooding in, literally. So take a moment to check those out. I think there were some goodies in there for everybody. It's just unbelievable. The way that nature speaks and shows us through what we see on the outside, reflecting back to us a lot of the energies that we may be experiencing from the inside. And so, we'll talk about that a little as we go through the spread here. We're going to tap in before our tarot spread, where we're using the absolutely beautiful Tarot of the Cosmic Seed by Lalania Simone. We've been enjoying this deck all month. We're also going to pull a card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, and also this beautiful Inner Child Oracle by Lynn. It's gorgeous. And I pulled a card from here for the Empowerment Pack reading for the Libra lunar eclipse that is available for all. I have a special going, an amazing offer for you to join me for the part 1 of that reading that I just tapped into that is running now, that I can share with you if you want to come along. And then part 2 is a personal set of card pulls just for you, where we'll be pulling a card from this deck along with the tarot deck that I used for that reading. So I will share either in the caption or on the other side of these polos, again, how you can get in on that offer. The full moon is on March 25th. So it's $25 to come along for a very powerful full moon lunar eclipse reading, and how you can best work with those energies. I provided some different resources, a ritual, along with some additional ways that you can be supported throughout eclipse season. We'll talk more about that in the energetic weather report. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tap in. We're going to start with the Queen of the Moon, because that's what's coming right up here, is a lunar eclipse. So of course, lunar eclipses are where the Earth comes between the full moon and the sun. And so I'm going to be sharing again some more about eclipses and how we can work with that symbolism. No matter what, they are always highly transformative portals. And as I've been saying, if you haven't been feeling the effects yet, you will be, because no one is exempt from eclipse energy. So it's really, really powerful. We've already been tapping into the Queen of the Moon for a number of the different card pulls and collaborations that I've done. So I'm already aware of a few different, that was resilience, note to self, a few different cards that have come forward. The one that came forward for the Empowerment Pack reading is so on point. So I'm super curious to see what comes forward here now in our collective energy for this week, for this lunation. What do we need to know? How can we best work with this energy? What is the message coming forward here? Patience. Wow. Okay. So we got this card a number of times this year. So I'm really feeling this energy of, once again, this patience before go time. But I really feel like this portal that's opening up is key because it's going to bring us into this eclipse season. So we'll see how that goes. Let's pull our tarot series next, and then we will finally cap it off with the inner child. So for our 5-card spread, we use each day of the week with an intention for this week. But of course, time is not linear. So these cards will interact and work with each other throughout the week, weaving together a story that as a collective, you are always invited to take what resonates for you and leave the rest, because this is always someone there to pick it up. It's always so uncanny to see how it plays out for everybody, the different cards that come up. And let's just say right now, we know if you've been tuning in, the last 3 weeks, we got the 3 of Cups every single time. So let it be known that energy has been present for the past 3 weeks. So what will come forward today? Let's see. Monday denotes sort of setting the tone for our week and what we can expect this week, this big eclipse week. So what is coming forward here for Monday, setting the tone? Ooh, we got 2. Oh, and they're together. I'm going to shuffle back up again and ask just for 1, please. That was success of the messenger in action of cups. So let's see. 1 card for Monday. 1 card for Monday. Ooh, liberation. It is the Judgment card 20 of the major arcana. Gorgeous. We have seen this card this month, so that is really beautiful. Tuesday denotes a potential block or challenge to the week. What may be a potential block or challenge this week? What's coming forward? Ooh, the Hanged Man. This was one of the cards that came up for Stars and Cards, my collaboration with Moonlight Soul. We talked about the observe energy, so that is big. I get that. We're going to talk about that one. Wednesday is a midweek blessing. Midweek blessing. Messenger of coins. So that's going to be a Page of Coins energy, anchoring in what comes through from the eclipse. All right, I'm bumping. What comes through Thursday, how we are growing. Mastery of Swords. So we've got that King of Swords energy coming in as the Mastery of Swords. Beautiful. So Earth and Air for that Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday is wrapping up the week. Friday, ooh, really jumpy with the cards tonight. That was 2 cards again. Got those Libra scales activated, I think, this duality and these aspects of extremes coming up, the polarity. There's 2 again. Sticky. All right, 1 card for Friday. Look, stop. It's all coming in 2s. 1 card for Friday to wrap up the week, please. Temperance. Beautiful. Yeah. So we've got a lot of major. We've got 3 majors and 2 court cards coming in here. So again, people, relationships, personalities, those aspects absolutely at play, all while knowing that this is significant. This is a significant energy that we are moving into, this series of eclipses, in some cases that are ending cycles, in some that are beginning, and will continue to reverberate out in the coming months. So we will get into that when we go through each of our cards. Also when I do the energetic weather coming right up. So let's cap this off with one of these gorgeous inner child oracle cards, just to give us highest and best guidance as we're navigating through these changes and everything that is coming through. 1 card from the inner child oracle. Oh my gosh, how perfect. Card 12, emotions are the reflection. Look for the deeper meaning. This is so significant on so many levels of messages that if you've been tuning in, you know that I was sharing this week. I talked last week about the reflection pool and this energy of when will my reflection show who I am inside. We've had this energy of all of the water that has been churned up and come up, the muck and all of the sediment that's been brought forward, how it is feeling and how we are navigating through those feels. And it's just, this is such a beautiful card to capture this energy of two, these relationships, these dynamics with self and other, and so much more. So we will dive into that for sure. Okay, so next I'm going to roll into our energetic weather for the week ahead. Then we're going to get into these cards. So if you are watching on Marco Polo, again, you can tune in throughout the week and watch as you'd like. If you would like a personal card pull, let me know. And if you're watching on social media, check out either in the caption, in my bio, or you can always just message and I will get you the link so you can join us and request your personal free card pull as well. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Check it out. All right, we are kicking things off with tapping in a bit to the energetic weather report for this week. And I'm going to do that sort of reflecting here on the energies that have just moved in over the weekend. So March 22nd, Friday into Saturday the 23rd, depending on where you are in the world, Mars moved into Pisces. And this is significant because while we know that we were celebrating the wheel turning and bringing in the sun in Aries, and a number of other aspects have already moved into fiery Aries, where we're looking for this new, fresh surge of energy and motivation and fire and sparks and getting it done. Mars, the actual planet of action, is in Pisces, and Pisces is dreamy and watery and much more nebulous and ethereal in nature. And so this has been ushering in this layer of energy that's actually creating perhaps a softening into any tense or heightened emotions. But it's an energy that also can lead to a sense of sluggishness or a lack of motivation. The guidance is not to push yourself too hard under this energy and allow yourself to flow. And this energy will be with us through the whole of Aries season because Mars will be in Pisces through April. So this is why this season is being experienced a little differently than usual. The energy feels different because there is still all this watery depth underneath, that's really coming in. And I shared a lot about that here earlier today with the flooding and water that happened here where I am locally, and the symbolism that I was getting from that, from nature, showing us this flooding of emotion and feels and opening of the heart chakra and opportunities for cleansing and clarifying and clearing that are coming forward. So this is really present right now. And then along with that, of course, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra happening over the next 24 hours. So we've got this eclipse coming in, opening up the eclipse season with this full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So the theme for this eclipse is all about our relationships, the power dynamics within them. So we could find ourselves needing to release or do away with power struggles in our relationships or dynamics in our relationships that are making us feel powerless. So because this is a lunar eclipse and a south node eclipse, it does seem that there is some sort of an ending that's going to occur, conclusions being within reach. And yeah, that ending could be a big one. It could be a significant ending, could also be more subtle, like the ending of a thought pattern or a dynamic or something that's coming up for you for release. But eclipses are always highly transformative times. So the chances are that this period that's leading up to that upcoming solar eclipse that's coming in on April 8th, that some big changes and shifts are underway. So I'm going to share here a couple thumbnails of some beautiful graphics that are out there that give you some pointers, because this is really the headline significant energy for us to work with this week. So here, these beautiful graphics from Leap of Faith Quotes are showing us in general, an overview about lunar eclipses. So an opportunity for us to really notice and release what is no longer serving, to surrender and cut cords, that they are portals for change, that they absolutely can feel very intense because they are powerful and transformative. We are best served to stay open and flexible to changes that occur. As I mentioned, specifically, lunar eclipses happen during a full moon. And it is a time for letting go and tying up loose ends. And so, this can be a very strong, amplified energy as full moons are already fully illuminated, that there's this fullness that comes in, amped up by this eclipse energy. So they can be 10 times stronger than a normal full moon. And so, information and truths that we didn't know about all being illuminated in this energy. It is a time of perspectives and dramatic revelations, potentially, again, largely on like the global scale, and the big stage. And then in our lives, this can play out in any number of ways. And no matter what, it assures change. So there is an aspect of forcing change into our life that is a needed change. It's creating a pathway for us to get onto a higher and more aligned timeline. So rest, reflect, retreat inwards, practice self-care. You can expect epiphanies, abrupt changes, and endings. And these are all things that, as I always say, not to be fearful, but rather mindful that this is the energy that is streaming onto the planet, and that we are best served when we surrender and are in flow with those energies. So I'm going to bring up now a graphic for some of the ways that you can work specifically with this moon. So here again, in addition to a number of resources that I share in the lunar eclipse video that I have the special available for now, where we have some rituals, some journal prompts, and other practices and ways that you can be supported through this lunar eclipse, here are a couple fun suggestions. So take yourself out on a solo date. You can practice a forgiveness ritual. I like to do those on full moons especially, so it would be a wonderful time if certain relationships or dynamics are coming up for you to really think about, in this relationship, what does that bring out of me? What is this showing me about me? How does this make me feel? So you see, although it's other reflecting back to us, it's an opportunity for us to look within and seek out opportunities for forgiveness and transmutation. You could write yourself a love letter. You can assess and reflect on, again, your relationships and what is that bringing up for you. Journal on relationship issues that you are holding on to. Anything that we're finding. Libra is bringing into the scales to sense where something is feeling heavy or light in some way to bring in more balance. Express your needs. Practice breath work. Make an eclipse water. Yeah, that's another way. There's a lot of beautiful ways that you can do that too, under the light of the eclipse and the lack of light for the disruption there when the earth comes between the two. And you can bring in those eclipse energies and make something from that you can use for any number of things. So that's a great suggestion as well. So again, with all of this, being mindful of these energies, being in flow with them the best you can, due to this highly transformative time. This can feel a little unsettled. We can feel that we know there's something there, but we might not quite be ready to pinpoint what it is. And that's kind of bringing me to what I think the message of our Queen of the Moon Oracle card here is for us, with patience. So again, trust that all is moving you to a higher state of consciousness. So as we move through these energies, it is all working for us to move us to that higher, more aligned space. So let's go ahead and start looking at our cards by bringing up the Queen of the Moon Oracle card first. Okay, we're going to roll right into this beautiful inner child oracle card because I feel like this is all setting the stage for the Monday energy that's coming right up. So I want to bring in this card first because the message just really feels on point here with so much that's been washing up. Emotions are the reflection. Look for the deeper meaning. Yes, so as we have this very powerful portal for change and transformation coming in with this lunar eclipse, in Libra, focusing on our relationships, looking at these dynamics, this balance between giving and receiving in our lives and where that is coming up. And so one of the ways that we experience the knowingness of how something is feeling is through our emotions and what is coming up for us. And we're being asked to take a deeper look, to go a little deeper. It's not just this person that's in front of us in this moment that we're having this disagreement or emotional response or exchange. There's more to it. And I really did get into this in the Empowerment Pack reading, but with that, this card is talking about emotions can often indicate how an event is affecting your inner child. So when you experience an unusually intense emotional response to a present situation, it may be a sign that an aspect of your inner child is hurting. So since your inner child can carry many different wounds from childhood into your present moments, as an adult, when intense emotions do arise, it's good to take a moment to sit with them and with your hurting inner child. This is so resonant because almost always when we're experiencing an emotion in the present moment, it is a reverberation of energies that we have experienced in the past. And most often our wounding, our trauma is coming from experiences we had and through our inner child. And there's so many other layers and aspects coming in with ancestral patterns and past life energy and all different aspects that are contributing. But, you know, some of the things that I'm just going to touch on here that, again, I go deeper on in the reading, you know, a lot of these questions are coming up about what we are feeling. And when we're in particular dynamics with people, asking ourselves, what does this remind me of? What is coming to mind for me in this experience? If I'm feeling frustration, exasperation, or some kind of energy where it's actually hitting on something of my inner child feeling like it was never heard, that I was never able to really express myself or communicate openly and freely. So I'm really triggered by this person in front of me because they're not actively listening. They're talking over me. They're interrupting. I feel like I'm being stifled in some way. And so it's bringing up for me the vibration of what it was to be a child who wasn't heard, just for example. So in these situations, what comes to mind? And recognizing that our relationships are our greatest teachers and they act as mirrors that are reflecting and projecting to us aspects within us that are coming up for healing or some form of balance, integration, release, transmutation, etc. So in this intense energy, it gives us an opportunity to look at how we are showing up in our partnerships with others, where we are feeling in the calibration of giving and receiving and reciprocity, if we are being truthful and authentic to ourselves. And this key question was really resonant for me. Do we like who we become when we are in certain relationships? So this is all connecting in with these aspects of inner child. So I actually find this card to be quite perfect. And of course, it's beautiful in seeing the reflection of the body of water beneath. We can see the outline of the lotus or lily pads coming up to the surface. We see this energy of the two birds, and it's definitely giving me all the vibes of the beautiful healing opportunities that are available to us within our relationships that are coming up through this eclipse season. So we're going to build on that as we go, but I do feel that this really did come forward as such a beautiful card to reflect. And also, like I said, it is card 12, which matches our Hanged Man energy, which again is just a third time that observe card is coming forward. Like this was all stars and cards, the messages I've shared over the weekend, it's all so connected. So, again, just a couple of responsive journaling prompts too that this beautiful deck offers us with this card. Is this current emotion attached to something deeper inside of you? ask yourself how it feels to understand the deeper meaning of your emotions. So just some thoughts for contemplation or journaling that are available for you with that card. And without further ado, we will now roll into our Monday through Friday tarot spread. All right, we are kicking off our 5-day spread here with the Monday card, which is absolutely beautiful. And I'm actually looking just now, sneaky peek to Friday, look at the energy of those butterfly wings. Wow. So this is really about this metamorphosis, transformation that we are undergoing here, and this crucial part of the process that we are moving through with a degree of openness and surrender and flow, and also patience, as we just talked about with the Queen of the Moon message. And now we have Major Arcana card 20, which is beautifully depicted here as liberation. I just love this card of awakening, of rebirth. It absolutely symbolizes all of those things coming in here, again, as one of 3 major arcana cards that we have coming in this week, just really underscoring the high intensity and significance of the energies that we're moving through this week. So liberation, also the judgment, known as the judgment card in the tarot, is about hearing that clarion call, the call to rebirth, to awakening, and also calling for forgiveness under the realm of judgment, criticism, always asking us to look at the ways in which we have been judged, how we have judged ourselves and others, and removing this energy of shame and criticism and judgment, that this shroud that we have been under. So there's this call for us to really expand into this new rebirth that's coming in. It's the card of spiritual awakening and the freeing of the soul. So it's calling to throw off the limiting pressures of judgment from ourselves or others and unfurl into your divine self. It's a sign that it is a time for self-forgiveness, that a deep awakening is upon you. You are understanding your wholeness and sovereignty and connection to all. That is key, is this awakening to the understanding of oneness and really shedding ourselves of the skins of separation, the illusion of separation that we have been living under. So there's really this massive call to awakening that's playing out in each of our lives in so many different ways, which begins with even something as simple as, looking at our relationships and really deciding, whether or not they're feeling aligned, whether or not we're feeling empowered in these relationships, or, if they are helping us to move on our journey, or if they are no longer serving. So this is an opportunity for a spiritual level up, which may come with emotional and physical release as well. You are worthy. Know thyself are the messages of the liberation card. So it's really beautiful because it really does speak to unfurling and opening up into your own metamorphosis. And again, remembering that we are all in different stages of that process. And so coming to it with that compassion and understanding for meeting people where they are and recognizing that each are on their own journey. And that again, if yours feels stagnant, if you feel like it is taking forever, this is where that energy of patience is coming in, to be present, be in the moment, find the joy in the journey. So this is really strongly setting the tone for this week, coming in with this powerful card of liberation. So these powerful portals of transformation and change are putting us onto the path. And yes, the other aspect about judgment is it can be a wake-up call, a sudden, a jolt into truths and clarity coming in. So this is where we also talked about how there is this energy of riding change, riding the lightning of change, riding the waves of change. And so that's coming into us in a number of ways as well. So just really feeling this energy setting the tone. And it doesn't stop there. We're still going major with the next card for Tuesday's potential blocker challenge. So let's bring that one up now and check it out. All right. Tuesday, we are coming in here with our second major arcana card for the week. The potential blocker challenge is the Hanged One. And, you know, it's like this endless trail of spiritual breadcrumbs that we just can't make up. I shared that on the Stars and Cards episode that I put here several polos back now, but the collaboration between me and my soul sis Mila, we also tapped into these energies for the lunar eclipse this week, and we pulled this same card from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, where it is called Observe. And while we were recording, I came up with the notion of turn your frown upside down to turn your crown upside down. That being turned over on your head, as the Hanged One would show, this idea of things being flipped upside down or being held or bound or in some way unable to move, that actually is in that pause, in that place where patience is called for, where surrender is called for, where flow is called for. Some of the greatest blossoming can occur. And I love how it's so beautifully depicted here with the rose, the opening rose that's coming forward here. So ever unfolding comes forward, and it's happening at the crown. The illumination is coming in, but it's through this hanged energy. So, you know, it's a challenge when we want, and again, this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this push-pull of like, woohoo, it's Aries season, you know, it's spring energy, rebirth, you know, light that fire, get your rams in a row, get it going. And then whoosh, being taken over by a wave of deep emotion or muck that has come up to the surface to be dealt with, where, what the heck? I thought we were, you know, all systems a go. And this is where I was feeling this energy of Mars and Pisces, and how we're still moving through the fields, and it's sort of like a wet blanket, right? So it's a hold up. We're hung up, right? So to the extent that that could show up in any number of ways for you this week, we feel into, you know, the messages here of the Hanged One in the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed. So it's coming forward here again with the energies of surrender, metamorphosis, and pause. Is something out of your control? It may be time to pause, to suspend all action, and be still for a time. The Hanged One also represents the need to surrender either your position or maybe to a higher power. In this position, there is nothing to be done but wait in reflection until there is a shift in your current circumstances. This card can also reflect the process of transformation. Who are you becoming? Right? So they're already working together so beautifully, because as I said with the Patience card, you know, one of the aspects for reflection with this lunar eclipse is, you know, who am I when I'm in these relationships, when I'm in these dynamics? What version of me comes forward? And do I like what I see? You know, am I bringing forward my best self in this dynamic? You know, and so the pause, the reflection, the surrender is the place where we're able to get that clarity. So again, I know that there's a frustration when there's delays and hangups, and we're sort of moving with a particular momentum and trajectory, and then a halt. You know, and I feel like there's a number of energies that could be coming in here. Like I said, Mercury isn't retrograde yet. That's happening on April 1st, but we are in the pre-shadow. So we are in the place of things, you know, going back over things, having snafus and hang-ups and troubles with plans and travel and electronics and communication, and all of those things are also a strand of energy that you could be experiencing. So when it comes to potential blocks or challenges this week, the other possibility too is, you know, indecision, procrastination, or being afraid of change. You know, it's awfully cozy over here in this predictable place where I already know what to expect, and it's not in any way uncomfortable. Like right now, I'd like to exercise, but I haven't yet. And so I have all the potential of then I can decide when I want to. But once I decide, now I've committed And I might not be able to meet my own expectations, and that creates a whole nother story that could potentially be one that I've been telling myself for a long time that has to do with perfectionism, procrastination, right? Those are some of my sneaky peas just for me personally. So I'm bringing forward to you in a practical way that I know this can show up for me, but also, again, delays and things not necessarily unfolding the way or in the time that we would like it to are all things that we perceive as a block or a challenge that actually end up being a gift, end up being exactly what is needed in a moment. And we can't always see that. Now, I take this moment real quick to show you, because this is what I mean, because this is my favorite. This is probably my favorite card ever. My favorite version of this card, number 12. And I remind you that this is also a 12 coming in. This is the card that came up in Stars and Cards, Observe, right? And so hanged one, observe, same energy. And I talked about this a little bit when I was sharing over the weekend with, all of those endless breadcrumbs that were coming in about these different aspects of me, different places I have been. And like I mentioned earlier, our inner child or our past self versus our future self or our higher self. And my conscious self here in this moment, and these different perspectives, and recognizing that each one has played a role, has been in a season of my life. Again, if you saw the other places I've shared this card, you know that brilliantly each earring is different here, reflecting a different season, right? The different seasons of our life and the different places that we have been. And, the way that we've solved situations from one perspective or another, and how that changes our reality. And so once we understand this, you can see same here, that the all of this awareness and wisdom comes in through the crown. And the same too is happening here with this blossoming and this ever unfolding rose, and that all of the experiences of our life, all of the relationships, have all the sum total of our experiences have brought us to this point. You are here, right? You are here. Be here now. And we're seeking out the joy in the journey, because there is an aspect of ourself that we can connect with at any time. Who knows? Who already knows how this thing works out? Who already sees the big picture of, all the whys and wherefores? So there's some powerful messages that come in the pause, in the stuckness, right? So we bring that in. Again, I'm really hammering some of these things because they are major. These are significant cards that are coming up. So they say, hey, pay attention, right? Be here now and see what's coming forward, because it is that wake-up call, that clarion call, that opportunity for us to step into the next level of our spiritual selves. So let's keep things going. On to Wednesday we go. Now, Wednesday is bringing in our midweek blessing, and we have a message, the messenger of coins coming in here. So this is like the page of coins or pentacles, bringing in that earth energy. I've seen this card a number of times this month, whether it's been in our collective readings or in personal readings I've done with some of you, where we've noticed right away this energy here. And this is what I'm feeling with, this Mars in Pisces, yet it's Aries season. So I see this like fire coming up her leg, this energy of this foot is on the ground, touching the earth, connecting in with this earth energy, while this one still has I feel they're the shit kickers, right? We got the shit kickers on over here. She's got her work boots on because she is still in the muck, right? There's still the potential that we're moving through some mucky stuff that has come up and the feels, and yet, this is where the sun is coming out, right? And there is this energy of what we're blooming into with this token, this coin of awareness, of wisdom that's coming in, that is giving us something that is needed in order for us to step into this new. So there's a toe in and out. And again, we're going to end the week with another card that is absolutely bringing in that energy of dipping a toe into this new, while we're still standing here holding our red balloon here now in this moment, right? It is that energy of seeing the seed, right? The coin is like the seed, where as we talked in this card about how we see the seed, but we foresee the flower. Oh my gosh, it's literally what's happening. She's holding the seed over here and the flowers over here. So we're still looking here because we're still in this stage of we're planting, we're cultivating, nurturing these seeds of what we have been bringing forward. And it has been a long, deliberate process because we have needed to experience whatever now moment we are in. So again, from one perspective, from one angle, there's an aspect of us that can be very frustrated. Again, pages, messengers are the youngest. So they represent sort of that immature or a youthful energy coming to the table here, a novice. So there can be some impatience. There can be a sense of like, when is this going to happen? When are the flowers going to come forward, right? So again, bringing together the story that's weaving here with this opening up and hearing the call, but feeling stuck or delayed or paused in some way and having sort of this exuberance and energy that's coming forward and finding the balance in all of those things, finding our footing in all of those things. So the messenger of coins is speaking to a nugget, a value of something that's coming forward, a seed of opportunity. It also brings forward the first sense of manifestation of things actually coming into materialization. That's been another aspect, is understanding that a lot of what's been flooding in is coming in through energetically, through the crown. It's opening up, cracking open to understandings and awarenesses that are coming in that haven't quite been integrated into the body. We're still in this process of bringing it in and grounding it in. So, these are messages coming forward through the element of earth. So it is about safety, security, material, evidence of things that are coming forward. We've invested energetically, which is that coin. There's been an investment, an energetic investment, but we maybe have not yet seen those fruits come forward, those blooms. So again, everybody's experiencing this differently, but there's this vibration of this process. So this energy can also speak to having a deep connection with nature or animals. Again, as the novice, it could be about learning a new skill, trying something new, trying something in a new way that you haven't done it before. Ground yourself often is a number one message that comes through with this energy, is get grounded through this entire eclipse season. When you are feeling the volatility, when you are feeling the instability of all of these shifting and changing energies, get yourself grounded. That's the best thing you can do, is come back into your body, connect with nature, do your process for getting grounded. Also, this can also represent working with your hands. A lot of people are starting to look to get outdoors, to do spring cleanups and fall cleanups and different things as far as getting ready to garden or harvest or whatever, wherever you are in the world, and what the process is for you, that there could start to be more connection in the outdoors and nature, and also just encouraging you to do so, because again, it's a wonderful way to get grounded, to come back into your body. Again, when this is disempowered, when this is in a challenged state, it can look like procrastination. It can look like having ideas and coins being deposited, but no action taken. So again, finding that sweet spot between the two. So it's actually a blessing, in the midweek here on the other side of the lunar eclipse. Whatever little nuggets came forward, the coins, the things that we can glean through this experience, now serving to be, again, the investment into, or the fertilizer for, these beautiful blooms that we're bringing into practical application. So as we're doing the shit kicking over here with the boots, right? Moving through the muck and deciphering through all of that. How do I feel? What is this showing up to demonstrate for me? Asking those key questions is helping us to gain more clarity. And that is exactly what these eclipses can serve to do, to put us on a path of awareness that previously was inaccessible to us, or that wasn't immediately apparent, that we now start to be able to see. So speaking of that, as the air clears, we'll move into our Thursday card coming right up for how we are growing. Now, Thursday is how we are growing, and I love that we come into the Mastery of Swords. So the Mastery of Swords, or the King of Swords, the embodiment of the sword suit, brings together the best and leaves the rest, right? So when we are in the fullest expression of the Mastery of Swords, it's bringing in all of the aspects of swords in the highest vibration, the highest expression. And that is bringing forward intellect. It's bringing through truth and cutting through and communicating clearly. And all of these different aspects of the Mastery of Swords being one who comes from a position of authority and certainty, definitely, having a frame of reference when it comes to rules or boundaries that they follow, and using intellect, right? So it's definitely very cerebral. We see here, and I was kind of looking too, I thought it was interesting, the beautiful behind them, whether we see this as like the sun and this being more like the moon, or this aspect, again, giving me a nod to these eclipsean energies. But this one definitely bringing in, of course, the Mastery, or traditionally the King of Swords, is a card of Aquarius. So again, that's always in the backdrop, that we are in the age of Aquarius, with Pluto in Aquarius really moving us forward when it comes to the sharpness of intellect and innovation and understanding, and, smarter, not harder energies. So this is really bringing in us growing into that when we shift our perspective and the way that we see the unique challenges, the way that we perceive the relationship dynamics, when we start to pan the lens out wider and wider and start looking at things from these bigger, more observant, detached perspectives, and that's the thing about a sword's energy, is bringing in not overly emotional, very much able to just look at it from an objective point of view and not get overly emotionally involved, but also when it's in balance, it's also not too cold or harsh or unfeeling, right? Those are all aspects, of course, when it is out of balance, that can be as well. But, it's energy to tap into your intellectual power and courage. Use logic in your current situation. You may need to be stern. A brilliant person with mental clarity and high ethical standards. So yeah, it may be called for you to communicate, and maybe if you are growing into communicating your needs more clearly, not being afraid to speak your truth. Because remember, liberation says, I'm coming out, so you better get this party started. It's like, I am here in my most authentic, unapologetic self, spreading my wings and standing here in my most authentic light, and allowing you to be in your most authentic space without judgment, without criticism, without getting totally caught up in, the aspects of, you versus me, and all of us having our own perception of our truths and our understandings. It's a shift in the way that we see our relationships and the way that we approach others when it comes to those relationships. So, just a number of ways that I feel we're growing into this mastery of this element of communication, and also how we're using our big, beautiful brains, okay? Because that's another big part of this, is the idea that we're being invited to drop out from the head into the heart, but not before we're using that degree of intellectual understanding and being able to access these upper realms that are, like I said, it's coming in through the crown, it's coming in energetically, and now we're getting to drop into the heart and anchor in and root in and bring it forward in a very practical way. So there's just a number of larger concepts that are going on here that may be a little big for, hey, we're just talking about this week and what we can expect. But it's like big things because it's all happening. So Again, it's going to show up different ways for each of us, but this can be in the form of having a very direct and clear conversation, of being very honest, of being able to, again, with love, right? So accessing that energy of the heart as well, which is what our final card is going to get into, all the while, being truthful, being authentic, being direct, being discerning, as the Mastery of Swords would have us do. So let's wrap things up now with the Friday card. All right, finally Friday, bringing us into our final card, which is our third major arcana card, this gorgeous depiction of temperance. So we sort of have come full circle around to patience, because temperance is also the energy of patience, moderation, flow, balance. So all the things. We're talking about this being a lunar eclipse in Libra, the Libra scales, finding balance, and we're even seeing this nod down here that was giving me the energies of light and dark, of yin and yang. So we're seeing this balance on all sides, right? I love this too. I love that we're bringing in the nautilus shell and these energies again with the butterfly, with the metamorphosis, with the spreading of our wings, but we're just dipping a toe into it. And yeah, this is giving me a hearty nod again at that Pisces energy. So reflecting back on Pisces season that we're just coming through, Mars in Pisces, as I've been talking about, feeling very, very prominent here in all of these energies because it's keeping us in the feels. But again, be here now. You are here. So even though in my mind, I've moved on and I want to move on, and I'm still here in this hanged one moment, because there's still a nugget, there's still a coin of wisdom that I am gleaning through this pause, through this balancing of energies in this moment of healing in moderation and being in flow. It also brings forward harmony. So it's all very connected to the Libran energies. It's very connected to this energy too of the feels and the flow that's still coming forward. Tranquility and moderation is the energy of this card. You can choose to stay calm and balanced, even when you feel stressed, right? This brings us back to how I can't control the thing, right? This thing is happening. How will I experience this thing? That's where I have the control. The control is in the surrender, because I surrender to the thing's happening, right? I'm moving through this feel. I'm having this, riding this wave, riding this rod of lightning of change that has come in here one way or another. How am I going to experience it? That is where I access my power. Harmony unfolds when you are patient and consider all perspectives, right? So we just keep our storyboard going. Patient and consider all perspectives, right? So we have these energies coming in over and over and over again, showing us every single angle, looking at it from all the different places as we go. Staying neutral will serve you best here. You have the ability to take in different ideas and alchemize them into something nourishing that serves everyone's highest good. Yes. Right? Yes. This is what I've been saying. You have that ability, right? It's an aspect of you that you maybe haven't tapped into yet, right? Or you're just coming into, or you've been there, but you had a backslide, right? Because you had a triggering moment or an experience that brought out that harsh double-edged sword, right? Something that maybe you participated in a relationship or in a communication or an exchange that maybe you're not proud of, or that you now see, maybe the role that you were playing in that dynamic that was not serving you, wasn't a good look, don't like the person that I am in that situation. It's not serving me or anyone else, right? But I'm not judging myself and criticizing myself for that, right? Because it's all been a part of my metamorphosis. It's all been a part of the fumblings and the follies as I go, having this human experience, right? And it's through those fumblings and follies that I arrive here in this place of neutrality, where I'm able to look at the situation, again, detached, unemotional, not judging and criticizing. And the more time that I can spend in that frequency, that version of me, that's when the deep awarenesses are able to come forward and be integrated. And as it beautifully says here, alchemized, right? Taking something in one state, the nugget, the coin, the thing, and alchemizing it into another form, right? So taking this as the fertilizer and bringing in the blooms, right? Being able to bring forward something even more beautiful, expansion, right? What we are blossoming into. So you see how these cards are all coming forward, weaving this potential story line that is available for us to tap into this energy. Alchemize them into something nourishing that serves everyone's highest good. How can you bring more flow into your life? So if you're coming up against a lot of tension and friction and feeling like everything is a struggle, that is a sign that you are not in flow, that something is not in flow. And so that is where we see perhaps in temperance a need to reprioritize, or we just become aware when we're tapping into those scales, right? And we have these two aspects, right? We have these two things that we're feeling into with those Libran scales of something is very heavy, very loaded, and something is light. And I've been saying it's light, not necessarily in a good way, but light in a lacking sense, like our self-care or time to, be able to recalibrate and refresh yourself and refill your cup is lacking. So that's light in that department and heavy in the other department. So there needs to be a bringing things into greater balance and harmony. How do we become aware of that? By feeling its weight, by experiencing something that probably doesn't feel great, right? Because it feels heavy, it feels lower vibrational, it feels binding. And so that's the squeaky wheel. That's the red flag or red balloon, if you will, that says, hey, you're here. How does that lead balloon feel? Like it's feeling heavy. So there's just a lot of different symbols coming up here, speaking to me, to share with you, how it's coming forward for us to tap into. So again, an indication of a call to restore balance in your life. And when you feel that call, it is to be celebrated. This is another point that's been coming up a lot, is when you become aware of something, it's not to judge and shame and criticize yourself for realizing that something's been out of whack. Celebrate that now you know, right? So now you have an awareness that you can then make a conscious choice to take action on, even if it's just a micro action. This is something that we talked about in the Empowerment Pack reading. Micro actions, taking small steps in the direction of what you are looking to bring into your life. So, there's just so many different things happening here. I feel like I've thrown a lot out for just a week ahead collective reading. But again, if you would like a personal card pull to help sort of streamline this into maybe how most specifically it's coming up for you, please feel free to reach out to me in whatever way works for you, and I'll be doing those card pulls. First, I am doing the full moon readings for the lunar eclipse, so I will be working on those comprehensive card pulls for the people who are joining me for that reading, but in between, I will be doing the free card pulls this week for this reading, so do let me know if you would like to get in on that, as well as the full moon eclipse reading. So again, I'm going to share on the other side of this another exclusive preview to the card pulls for the reading. So I did a 6-card spread along with some supporting oracle cards. So if you want to get in on that, that is available to join me. I'll put that information here at the end as well. Just reach out, let me know that you want in, and I will instantly send you that first part. Part 1, 75-minute reading where we get deeper into the astrology and energetic aspects, as well as the spread, the elements that came forward, the ritual, and all other kinds of goodies that are all jammed in there. And then you and I connect on the other side for more specifically your intentions with this full moon lunar eclipse, and we pull some cards just for you. So I would love to have you join if you feel so called. Again, I'll put that info here, but thank you guys so much for being here, for your support, and hang on in there because we're just growing in the flow here as we go. So I appreciate you being here, inspiring me as well. Okay, guys, sending lots of love. We'll talk soon.